AI and leadership development, folks. It's real. It's a conversation. Yes, they go hand in hand. Let's talk about it. Leaders can bring AI into your leadership development practice, folks. I've been talking with a few people about this conversation as of late, lots of senior leaders who I work with. How do I do it? What does that mean? What are the ethics? I'm going to put the ethics aside. Yeah, they're important environmental and ethical considerations when using AI, but here, do your due diligence, folks. But for today, let's focus on exploring how AI can be a thoughtful companion in your leadership development and the practice of your leadership. What does it look like to have AI help you along your leadership path? What does that mean? And not in some shiny, gimmicky way, but as a real tool to help you become a better leader. And I've thought through, 4 or 5 things. And to start off with, here's why it matters. AI is here and AI is useful as long as you put parameters around it and as long as you know that it's not correct what you decide is correct. But it can sure, it's not going anywhere, but it can sure help you have, some of those first initial ideas. We probably can't ignore it, folks. Some of you are ignoring it. But we can learn it in a way that's useful for us, and we can learn how to use it to grow, right? And so bringing AI into how we develop ourselves as leaders, it's not necessarily optional anymore. It's required if we want to stay up to date, if we want to stay relevant, and if we want to lead in this new era, and if we want to use a really good tool to help us in our own development, much less in our work, right? So let's start here. Yeah, there's probably about 4 that I want to share. First one is as a thinking partner, right? AI as a thinking partner is pretty powerful. Let's use it in terms of a thinking partner in terms of our own leadership development. Let's start there. You can sit down with a tool and choose your platform of choice here, right? ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, choose your own adventure here. And different tools have different purposes, right? So anyways, there's work to do to figure out what tool is useful for you. ChatGPT seems to be like the duct tape of the AI world. Everybody seems to know it and be able to use it at least at a basic level, and it does basic level great things. Anyways, choose your own adventure. It literally is changing month by month. But if you think about it, AI as a thinking partner, you can ask things about it to help you prompt and get reflective on, what does leadership mean to me? Help me figure that out. What kind of leader do I want to be? Guide me through a conversation of surfacing that. Or what behaviors matter to me? What does that look like, right? We can go even deeper, actually. Where am I getting stuck? Help me understand where I'm getting stuck in this relationship, in this pattern that I'm repeating. Help me find patterns that I'm repeating in the way that I converse with this person, or how I show up at work, or whatever it is, right? Or I can get to a really practical place, suggest a small shift I could practice this week, or give me a mantra for the week that helps me stay in a growth mindset, or any number one of these, right? It can even get you into a place of a practice plan, right? Something like, help me explore the leadership challenges that I'm facing right now and how I can approach them, right? Help me get creative around that. Or communication, effective communication is really key, right? A lot of people ask about that and want to explore that. And so just simply asking, how can I communicate more effectively with my team? Help prompt me and guide me through a conversation to explore 3 practices that I can start using to communicate more effectively, right? Or even leaning into your leadership strengths, I just did this assessment, or I have feedback around these strengths. Help me lean into this one this week, right? Give me some practices. So it can do some of that work for you to just be that thinking buddy and be a guide for you in figuring out your leadership development, which is really great. It's a bit challenging because you still want, on the other side, you want someone to help sense make with you. Staying at the surface is really great, but you still want colleagues, working with your team, working with a leadership coach or a facilitator, working with your best friend on a Saturday, like whatever it looks like for you to be able to sense make or mirror or ask some hard questions because, they know you, right? Or hold you in accountability. Like you still need all that there. But again, this is just a great place to surface. A second place actually that's really great is to get into role playing. Especially through tough scenarios. We don't have a lot of places to practice and safe spaces, right? And leadership is full of hard conversations, conflict, feedback, negotiation. Most of us don't get into places of practice where we can get, like before we get thrown into the real thing. So AI can help you role play, it can help you, if prompting it, say something like, help me practice giving constructive feedback to someone who's underperforming, a direct report of mine who's underperforming, right? Help me figure out or rehearse a tough conversation I need to have around boundaries that I need to have with a peer, right? And it can start to be that guide with you. So it helps you get the words out of your head and hear how they sound and test some approaches, some language. A lot of it sometimes is around framing before you just walk into a room, right? It can also help you gain perspective. You can kind of audit some of your ideas and some of your approaches for bias you may have. Used well, AI can be a good partner for just some perspective taking or bias checking. So it can help you surface maybe some of your own dominant narratives that you're operating from, or generate missing perspectives on a project or just in your own thinking, or contrast, as I've learned in some of the AI training that I've done, it only does this if you ask it, right? If you say, hey, can you check my bias here? Oh, hey, what you just generated, can you check it for bias, right? Asking it to check bias on itself. When you approach AI as something that can help you get some perspective, it can be good for critical thinking, right? You can prompt AI in a way to spot potential blind spots, challenge assumptions, offer viewpoints from different stakeholder perspectives or marginalized perspectives. Something like, what's an alternative perspective that I should consider on this issue? Or what voices or opinions am I overlooking in some of the thinking that I'm having? Walk me through that. Or what are some assumptions that I'm bringing to the table, or what are some assumptions that could be influencing my decision that I'm making here? Let me give you some context and help me surface some assumptions from myself, or assumptions from my organization, or cultural assumptions. I live in this place with it that, you can give it some context. So it can be a bias checker, right? Or a lens expander. I don't know, maybe that's the word, to get some more perspective and just help have a little bit of a practice there. And I guess fourthly, that comes into a place of reflection, right? It's a muscle to build self-reflection into our practice, into our days, into our weeks. And AI can be helpful here, just as, providing prompts on growth mindset. Help me have a mantra to practice growth mindset for the week, or journal prompts, right? Provide me a journal prompt on where I'm holding myself back as a leader, or help me understand what's energizing me now or what's draining me. Or you can even ask it to transform that into worksheets or frameworks if you work better in those ways, right? Or step-by steps, like give me a 5-point process on how to give feedback, how to receive feedback, right? Give me a skeleton of an idea of how to lead my team through change, right? How to lead my team through change as this person has just left, right? It can be helpful there. Now, just to say, like, it's great, and it does not have the right answers. Only, again, I just have to underscore this so many times. We're used to plugging things in, and there's the correct thing. Okay, find me a coffee shop near me, and Google will provide you a coffee shop near you, and it is factual, right? This is not factual. This is not correct. This is one place for you to get some ideas so that you can then lift it into your own practice, so you can analyze it and go, oh, that was a good idea. I'm going to take that, but I'm going to leave this. Oh, I'm going to bring this to my leadership coach. I'm going to bring this to the team. Let's see, let's play with this. This is great. Right? Oh, this is off, right? Oh, hold on. It is not correct, right? You definitely pick up what's useful. And on that note, actually, the fifth one I'd like to share is that AI can really help us do our jobs. We're all learning that, which frees us up to work on what matters, which is our relationship, right? That's AI can't replace that human connection, that kinetic energy, that all the humanity goodness, or challengingness. But what it can do is it can help us get our jobs done. So some of the things it can help us draft agendas or summarize meetings or generate ideas, organize tasks, generate an image. Fascinating, but anyway, so ethics behind that and so on. But just to say, you can spend less time buried in some of these tasks, which allows you to spend time building trust, meaningful conversations, right? Getting present with your team, present with yourself. And I've, so here's some examples, because I've been working with leaders and to help use it as a first source of support and brainstorming, asking it questions about HR, like, hey, can you write the first draft of this job description? Here's a couple of titles. Go do some deep research on those titles in this industry, in this pay scale, for this sector, and come back with a draft job description. Like, you can go off and do that, right, as your first cut. Give me some ideas for an organizational structure as we grow from 30 employees to 100 over the next year, right? Okay, that's great. Giving me some good ideas. Give me some, what's another one that I use? Give me some best practices to creatively deal with some short-term cash flow issues, given that we have these digital assets and these service-based assets. What's some stuff we can do? What was another one? Give me 3 debrief questions I can use with my team at the end of this big project. What's some other ones? What are some best practices to deal with staff complaints about their colleagues? How do I hold that? How do I maneuver with that, and so on, right? Be a sounding board for this decision I'm trying to make. It's a way to handle some of that tactical load so you can stay focused on the relationships, but be able to have either a thinking partner or a first draft, or like that initial beginning to some of the stuff that we do in our jobs. Now, I will say, I think, one of the things, I can't help myself but talk about resilience, right? Because so often when we talk about AI, it's like the essence behind that is like, let's do more, be more effective, be more efficient. We can be more productive, right? And it's like, whoa, hold on. Let's not just fill the space with more work. I know that's going to be tempting, and I know it's going to be hard to push back on that, but there's a place here, a conversation here around resiliency when we get into the use of AI, right? Efficiency matters, effectiveness matters, right? Getting stuff done. Sure. It matters, but it doesn't matter at the cost of your sanity. And it allows us, I believe, that it allows us, and it begs the conversation of, hold on a minute, how do I stay in my intentionality of how I want to lead, in greater clarity, in being able to have humanity here in the room, and allows me to show up more consistently regulated, being able to navigate uncertainty, being able to have that resilience, stay connected, especially when things get tough, right? Resilience is the foundation that supports a lot of the stuff that we're trying to build. And so it can't come at the cost of just being more effective and do more and so on. It requires us to get really intentional about practices and resiliency. If you feel like you want more steadiness, more grounding in your leadership, and you want to practice resilience, I've created something for you, a self-paced sort of experience designed to help you reflect and reset, move forward with greater clarity and resilience, and build a personalized resiliency framework. Check it out in the show notes if that's something that you need, because a practice of resiliency is definitely needed when some of the essence behind AI is asking us to go harder and faster. And it's like, whoa, pull that back. Still need to practice that resiliency in us, folks. Okay. So pausing on that. Yeah. My invitation here to you, offering some of these things here for you, is just to start experimenting. Just roughly right, give it a try. This is not about perfectionism. This is about learning a tool, playing with AI as a leadership tool. Notice where it helps you reflect, where it helps you practice, where it gives you maybe some of your time back here so you can go spend it on the peoples, right? It's a tool that helps us kickstart into some pieces of work. Like, just start experimenting with it. AI is there and it can help us do some of the things, and it can also help us do some of that inner work of leadership for ourselves. It can help us come into that practice more and more. It's not just about some of those outer tasks. It's also about, wow, how can it help me develop myself with some intentionality, right? So folks, play at will, share, let me know how you're doing with it. Would love to hear. Don't replace it with a whole bunch of other things, but it definitely is a companion here, and it can help you surface, but always being true to you and you deciding how to move forward, what's right for you. Yeah. Keep experimenting, roughly right. And folks, practice your leadership all. Stay in the practice.